Waiting for the thing to pop up on Facebook. I don't do promos much. By the way, I'm in the recording channel now.
Okay.
So I'm going to mute you on Get Vocal.
Yeah, I got you.
And there you are.
Yep.
All right. Why is... All right. Why is this not popping up on Facebook? We're in the Discord. Manage simulcast. Oh, all right. Hold on. I guess if I want to fix this, I have to end this session. We're still going to be on Discord, so.
Okay. Yeah, I have my audio through Discord.
Yeah, so do I. So, because we're on, it's on YouTube, but it's not popping up on Facebook.
Oh.
And I am confused. Oh, all right. Yeah, let me just. Oh, I guess it didn't stop the broadcast. I just navigated away. That's what it was. Okay.
All righty.
Never mind. So where the hell is the thing then? Where is the post? Where is the earth-shattering kaboom? There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. Well, Ruby is here in the Discord. I know that. Hey, Ruby. Okay. Because I don't know what's going on with this Facebook. Oh. Whoop, whoop. Ruby is watching us on YouTube. Okay, so at least there's that. I like it. We're just finishing up the writing, so we will get into this. We've got something really, really fun planned for this skit this week for the character. So, and we're just like I said, finishing up with the writing. Let's see.
Hmm.
What?
I'm just just trying to figure out like how because I can't picture any scenario where he doesn't just keep going with this. He just
No, I don't disagree with you. So yeah, it's about trying to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
And how to end it at some point. Also, do you have any recommendations for the next review?
The next review. You know what? Let me hop on Comixology and take a look.
Okay, in the meantime.
You know, it's come up a couple of times from people, once again, due to the visual format in terms of Netflix and whatnot. Want to get into the Umbrella Academy?
Sure. Because I know we were supposed to do the one character a while back.
Yeah.
We never. Let's see. Umbrella Academy, is that on Unlimited? Yes, it is.
That's the only reason I said it.
Works for me. Okay. Umbrella Academy Volume 1 Apocalypse Suite.
Sweet.
Okay, so that's taken care of. All right, so Fables is done.
Okay.
Writing anyway.
Mm-hmm. The main problem with writing this Black Adam skit like this, most wrestling skits aren't that long. So... Oh, okay, you got it. All right.
Yeah.
I see. I didn't realize you were typing stuff.
Yeah, I did the one.
I actually have a very practical response to that too.
Share via direct message. Gotta, promote.
Okay.
Apparently, Perfect Package is doing their top 10. I guess it's their anniversary show.
Okay.
This week, so they're doing their top 10 moments from the show, and I have made two of them. One is me and Dave, and the other is me and you.
Nice.
So I feel so special.
Woohoo. Hmm. No, I can't do that. I want to shoehorn it in, but I feel like it just goes too far.
Shoehorn what in?
Because it doesn't quite fit with the character. Because The Rock is the people's champ, and I feel like I need to get him.
No, he absolutely is. Adam sees himself as the champion of the people of Kandak.
Right, right. But I feel like he could go farther than that, and that's part of my hook as to why he would even continue to listen to me. But to just automatically say the people's champ, I feel like is just I get it.
Why?
It makes
We've leaned in so far this
You know
point.
what? You're right. You're right. Let's go for it. All right.
Yeah. Why are you going to puss out now?
It's not a matter of pussing out. It's more like I feel like we
It's
can
about pussing
build, but
It's about
like,
pussing out. It's about pussing out. Listen, we've thrown every other fucking catchphrase of
No.
his.
I'm not saying don't use the catchphrase. I'm saying how do we build to it? And I'm like, you're right. We can't like I'm thinking too subtle. That's what I'm getting at. I'm thinking too subtle. It's not that I can't use it. It was more like, how do I put this in? And I don't want it to be shoehorned in. I'm like, well, wait a minute. We're talking about the ultimate medium that shoehorns in everything it possibly can in the span of like 30 seconds. So yeah. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's no room for subtle here.
Yeah.
Why is this not? We're still not showing up on Facebook though, for some unknown reason. This does not make sense. If Wookiees live on Endor, you must acquit. Let me just get my audition up and running while. Figure out how we're going to end it, you know.
Oh, I already have an idea, and it's way off what you're thinking. So I'm just gonna start typing, or continue typing.
Okay, that's fine. You continue typing then. Apparently, there's a WWE pay-per-view happening tonight.
Huh.
Silica packets are only stamped with "do not eat" to prevent people from choking on the packet. It's otherwise non-toxic. Interesting. I did not know that. Well, there you go. Learn something new. All right, let me head on over. You and I are the perfect people to write this skit with everything that we know, everything that we have lived through for 20 years.
Yep.
It should come as less than zero surprise that we are writing the skit that we are writing.
Yep.
And that we're doing it like this.
Yep.
Oh man. Oh man. This is amazing. I'm going to tag him in these posts, by the way.
Oh, you better. Are you kidding me? Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Anyway.
I don't know who runs the social media, but.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got it. Okay. I had an original idea, and now I'm gonna vary it just a little bit.
Okay.
It's a little abrupt, but I feel like that's honestly the way it should be because it's a mistake on his part that I have nothing to do with. It's just the fact that he makes this mistake and I just jump on it.
Okay. I'm surprised he would, make a mistake.
Oh no. No. The way he does it, you know why he makes this mistake. Don't worry. I just have to type it out.
Okay. I trust you. Been doing this for 97 episodes and 25 years. So I was going to say we're going to try and wrap it up soonish so we can get started. In the meantime, why are we not live on Facebook? I don't understand. This is really frustrating. I'm getting really frustrated. That's right, people. It's 2020, and I'm making a strong, sad reference because this is what the world has come to. Wow. This is the strong bad. Email from the front to the back of the check. Email from the front to the back of the check.
And don't get me wrong, I'm kind of sort of up to date, so this wouldn't actually work. But with the overall background of the character, this works, and with this skit, this works. Just.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant thunder.
Well, I'll put in the appropriate sound effects. Although, I was going to say canonically, I think the word is chocolate now.
I know. It's chocolate egg
chocolate
cream.
egg cream.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm well aware. But I'm like, I got to do this. I'm sorry. This
No,
was like,
with everything else we've done, it writes
yeah,
itself that way.
yeah.
I swear we'll be starting the actual recording soon. Ruby and whoever else is watching. We always get really good feedback though on Facebook. I'm disappointed. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What?
This is way more inside, or like that last line right there. That's way more inside than people realize. Okay. Do you remember the Rock and Sock connection?
Of course.
All right. Do you remember when he actually was trying to do the catchphrase? His glasses fall off.
Yes.
Okay. That's where that comes from. The Rock thanks you for that.
I love hearing the skit being made. I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Well, let's just say if you know anything about the character and what's going to be happening with the character.
Now, well, to clarify,
thematically speaking.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
In the future.
Yes. Okay. So, if you want to pick up something, I mean, I just wanted to make sure I got that stuff in because it just popped into my head. I really had none of this planned ahead of time.
No, I understand. I want to put in something like, to the corner of, I want to do something with the SmackDown Hotel. Playing off of that.
Yeah.
We have to tweak it a little bit.
I know.
What? Because it was always the SmackDown Hotel was at the corner of Know Your Role Boulevard
and Jabroni Drive.
And Jabroni Drive. Fuck it.
Yeah, just do it. Once again, no need to be subtle.
Nope. Anybody who's listened to it at this point knows exactly where we're going with this.
Oh my God.
We're leaning into it. There's no attempt
to be beautiful. Yeah, that was one reference I didn't know how we would get in, and I thought I really was thinking about like, oh, yeah.
Do you like pie?
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh no, I got it. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I
okay. All
have
right.
to, I
No, go ahead.
whoops,
Oh,
whoops. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
okay. If you got something
Sorry.
in there,
Only because if we're gonna lean in this heavily, I really want to mess with. Okay.
I love when we just play off of each other like this. It's just oh, that's beautiful.
you. Oh.
Ah, 15-year-old us is just coming through right now.
Yes, it is. And
This skit is written purely for you and me 20
yep,
years ago,
yep.
and I don't fucking care. I don't care at all. I don't care what our I don't care that this is not based in any real
Nope,
psychology or
nope,
psychiatry
nope,
whatsoever.
nope,
There's nobody's learning anything from this one. This is not one of those episodes where the skit
nope.
is going to be nope, nope. This is
Mm-mm.
straight up. There's a conceit, and it's just okay.
Yep.
So oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. Um, all right. I've got audition up and running, and I am now recording.
Same.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. And let's kick this off in 3, 2. Hello and welcome to Capes on the Couch, where comics get counseling. I'm Anthony Sitko.
And I'm Dr. Issues.
This is issue number 97, Black Adam, as requested by Brian, our present level patron. Thank you, Brian. And sort of a little late as far as timeliness goes, but the Rock announced that they're going to be definitely making the Black Adam movie. Announced that at Fandom a couple of weeks ago. So we had that on the calendar. We tried to get it done closer to Fandom, but scheduling and this, that, and the other. But we're here, and we're ready. We're just gonna bring it.
Oh man.
Oh, I cannot wait for you folks to hear this skit. This is Doc and I were just saying, as we were finishing up writing it, some skits we try and teach you, some skits we try to put in some real psychiatry, some real psychology in there in the hopes that you learn something from this. This is not going to be one of those skits. This
Nope.
is one of those skits. We had an idea and we threw out everything that wasn't directly related to this idea. We just built it around this conceit. So
Once in a while, we just want to have fun, and I know that's where my mindset was rolling into this. So I am greatly appreciative.
and all I can say to that is, oh hell yeah!
All right.
So somewhere, Travis from the Wrestle Specialist listening to this, going, yes. Quick reminder, by the way, 2 weeks left to vote on the award show nominees, capesonthecouch.live/nominees for our 100th episode. So get your votes in, as well as your questions for the mailbag, because we've gotten some votes in, but not everybody has submitted a question. So just a friendly reminder that it's not just the votes for the award show, but we're also doing the mailbag. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Black Adam, aka Teth Adam, created by Otto Binder and C.C. Beck in The Marvel Family, #1, December 1945. So now, just as by way of comic history, for those of you who may be a little confused or question about Captain Marvel, Shazam, etc., Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel character, was created by Fawcett Comics back in the 40s. He was basically a Superman analog, so much so that Fawcett Comics ended up getting sued over how similar Captain Marvel and Superman were. And Fawcett Comics ended up being bought out by DC, who then licensed all of the Fawcett Comics characters and decided to bring them into the full DC universe. In the meantime, Marvel Comics created their own character called Captain Marvel and had a trademark on it. So that's why all of the Captain Marvel comics in the 70s for DC were titled Shazam, because the character could be called Captain Marvel, but the book itself had to be called Shazam or otherwise. And then I don't remember if it was in the New 52 or Rebirth or whatever. They just went ahead and they just renamed the character Shazam. So that's why the movie with Zachary Levi is called Shazam. But in any case, Black Adam only made one appearance in the original Fawcett Comics run. He was an ancient Egyptian who was given his powers by the wizard Shazam, but he became corrupted by them and was banished to a far solar system. He returned to Earth 5,000 years later and battled the Marvel family, only to be tricked into saying Shazam, much like Captain Marvel, aka Billy Batson, who could transform from Billy Batson into the Captain Marvel by saying Shazam and vice versa. Black Adam was tricked into saying Shazam and instantly aged to death because he was alive for 5,000 years and he had remained Black Adam for 5,000 years. Therefore, he never aged. But his human side, once he lost his powers, just turned to dust. So after DC bought Fawcett Comics and began using their characters, he was reintroduced to the larger DC universe as an adversary of Captain Marvel / Shazam. So DC basically gave him a similar origin story, but said he was buried in a tomb by Shazam until he was unearthed by an archaeologist named Theo Adam, with whom his spirit bonded, very similar to the Billy Batson and Shazam. So then Black Adam in the late 90s, early 2000s, he begins to reform because he wants to clear his name and unsully his reputation. And so he joins the Justice Society of America, and he serves as kind of a darker, anti-heroic counter to most of the other members. So it was later retconned that he wasn't Egyptian. He was from the African nation of Kandak, and he became the ruler of Kandak after deposing the dictator. Adam Smasher killed the dictator.
Yeah, he and Adam Smasher actually are pretty close through most of the stories.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read much of the JSA run. I've got bits and pieces of it in terms of research, but I'm really trying to just condense it here. But it's really good stuff, and we do recommend that you go and you find. I think it's a Keith Gillen and a couple of Jeff Johns. I think worked on it for a little bit. The JSA runs of the late '90s, or I think it's early 2000s. It's like 2002, 2003. Yeah. We do recommend that you go and find those JSA books, because that's really where the meat of the character reformation happens for Black Adam. So he becomes, I almost want to say, like he's a Dr. Doom, in the sense that he loves his people and he wants to do right by them, and he doesn't care who he has to fight, what he has to do. He's going to fight for Kandak and his people, much like Dr. Doom is the harsh but quote unquote benevolent ruler over Latveria. I get a very similar vibe from reading a lot of this JSA stuff from Black Adam. So in 52/World War III, which are sort of, sequel storylines to each other, Adam's version of the Marvel family, he gets his own version of Mary Marvel and Billy, Captain Marvel Jr. and there's a talking alligator. And so his version of the Marvel family are all killed. And so Adam goes on a rampage. He kills not just, I think it's Balaya is the neighboring nation where the terrorists that killed some of his family, particularly his lover, were from.
Yep.
He not only kills the terrorists in Balaya, he kills the entire country. All 2 million people.
Yep.
Mass genocide. He wipes out the entire nation. and he goes on a rampage that requires the entire Justice Society and other heroes to band together to defeat him, and he's left powerless. So in the New 52, he's rebooted as Adam, whose nephew Amon, back many centuries and millennia ago, Amon was given powers by Shazam, much like Billy Batson. And then Adam becomes injured. So Amon shares his power with his uncle, who then says, "You don't deserve these powers. You're not doing enough with them. I can do it. And also, I'm going to rebel against those who enslaved us, because Adam and Amon were slaves. And so now that Adam has a taste of this power, he's going to turn on anybody who dared enslave him." So, and also kills his nephew because he says, "You're not doing enough with these powers." Going against your captors, totally justified. Killing your nephew because he's not enough of a hard ass as you, that's not cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
so he's defeated by the Morpho family once again. And then in Rebirth, he's a member of the Council of Immortals, and he's still serving as a ruler of Kahndaq. And I know Doc is much more well-versed, I think, in Black Adam and the history of the character than I.
Well, you did a great job. It's just, I know that there's plenty of other parts to this. You mentioned his version of the Marvel family. I mean, he's at one point gets married to Isis, and then Isis, unfortunately, well, it was important for her to die at the time, but the fact that she died sent him over the edge. And there is a separate story about his trek to resurrect her and failing, but it was because he was tricked. I just lots of other stuff that really does give more flavor to the character. But you did an excellent job. I don't have anything to knock about it, so we can get into the issues.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's, we always say we're not geek history lesson. We're not going to go that in depth with the history. So, Black Adam, by virtue of his character, has a couple of issues, and they all sort of tie into one another. So, frankly, Doc, I'm not even sure which, because I wrote them in a particular order, but I'm not sure that the order necessarily flows.
It doesn't matter.
To the next. So,
I think we can handle it. Don't worry.
So, okay. So the first thing is he's unable to take any criticism whatsoever. He is incredibly thin-skinned, even if it's a critique, even if it's a positive, it's supposed to be helpful criticism. He doesn't handle it well at all. And that's a problem for any of us, much less superpowered rulers of a country or just rulers of a country in general.
Yep.
But shots fired. So, any advice you have for folks who are unable to accept any form of criticism whatsoever?
I know many people think that my first consideration for all of this is whether or not the person has a potentially narcissistic personality or something that indicates that they have an inflated sense of self-worth. You don't need that. It just comes down to the idea that I'm trying to be very careful with how I word this, because I think this could trigger a lot of people, but there's no such thing as perfection in your own mind. And yet our own sense of self-perfection may be what's driving us to just get out of bed. So there's a huge dichotomy here. You have to have enough self-esteem to know that you are worthy of existing in this planet. I mean, that's something that's been tested for several months now for quite a few people. If you didn't have a sense of self-worth before, and there was no one around to remind you of it, then it can really be problematic. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the second that someone brings something up that you weren't even trying to pay attention to, you're going to want to listen. The issue is not necessarily whether or not he likes or dislikes what a person is saying. It's whether or not he has his ears open. He is not trying to have conversations most of the time. It's a communication failure. So it's not a matter of saying that it's an insult to him if someone is saying something negative. At least the way I've always read Black Adam, it was more like, why are you even worthy of my time? Why are you worthy of my attention? And it's a high threshold to meet. It's almost something that sometimes we see people that quote unquote are put on the spectrum. And once again, I'm not saying that in its own right to be an insult. It's just something that creates a level of emotion that's so impulsive that you often don't get to the cognition behind it. It's just this immediate wrath. I'm not exactly sure if I have the proper vocabulary, psychology or otherwise, to describe this. In other words, it may not even be directed towards him. It's anything that's considered within his realm of sensory input. If I'll give a more personal example that maybe we can relate to. I've had a patient in the past who you could tell he was entering the room because he had a strong body odor. And it was part of why he was hospitalized. He wasn't really taking care of himself, but he also had a psychotic illness, and therefore he wasn't always in touch with reality. So now we're trying to bridge the gap between just making it very simple, take a shower, please, and just wanting to help him with his overall condition. So how do we approach this? And different staff members approached it different ways. And it seemed like no matter which way we approached it, it resulted in a negative response. So I try and be nuanced. Hey, I was just wondering if you could help me figure out, what we can do so that you would be able to take a shower. Maybe we didn't give you any soap or whatever. And he lashed out at me. And a different staff member was much more blunt and said, "Wow, man, you're really smelling bad today." And he almost went off. Unfortunately, there was a situation with a different patient that had nothing to do with that other patient and would just say, "You stink," and actually tried to throw down with him, like get into a physical altercation. So there was no subtlety. I wanted to make sure I demonstrated the full spectrum there. My point was, throughout all of that, he never actually changed his behavior whatsoever. He still didn't shower. He still didn't take care of his hygiene. He still didn't do any of it. And it had nothing to do with whether or not he thought that he was a bad person. It didn't have anything to do with anything we were saying or how we were saying it. This is one of the most primal responses a person can have. I'd much rather see a person take a beat, like just take a second to consider what someone else is saying, as opposed to just having this instant reaction, because it means that they may not want attention at all. And that is something that's incredibly difficult to get through. So I'm not even saying whether or not this person has an ego problem. I'm saying whether or not this person even recognizes what an ego is. That's how crippling that level of, not even indifference, just complete lack of personal insight, just how painful that can be.
I had never heard of that idea that they don't even know what an ego is, to be that removed from self-awareness and reality, I guess. Wow. And I suppose to some extent that's a privilege on my part. No, I'm not saying that to be flippant. I'm saying that because I guess I never was able to understand that was a possibility.
And yet I would say it's incredibly uncommon, but when I see it, I know that it's going to be a difficult time with the patient, because aside from the combination of medication and a lot of patients, it's not something that's easily not easily broken. It's like a shield. It's like something that the person has developed as some sort of defense mechanism for whatever has happened in their life, and it's tough to break through. Now to clarify, do I think the character Black Adam exhibits this badly? No, I do think it ultimately comes back to more of the classic narcissism, because that's the way most literary characters are going to be written. But I wanted to put that spin on it because it's something that I don't think we've ever really discussed. And I think sometimes we do come from, you say privilege, I would just say we happen to be in the greater band of the bell curve, so that it's less likely we come to experience those things. But it exists, definitely exists.
Oh, I'm sure it does. It's just one of those things that I had never contemplated before. And I suppose then it's funny, some of the things that you were describing about your patient, because that ties in then to the second issue. He is incredibly wrathful. If he feels even remotely slighted, he will stop at nothing to punish. Now, World War III was because ISIS and the rest of the Marvel, or his version of the Marvel family, were killed. And so to some extent, I understand that. But throughout the character's history, even when he's heroic, quote unquote, with the JSA, he is still always this close to snapping. And so he will take it out on you. And he can be incredibly violent when he is on the warpath, much more so than your average hero. Most heroes try to do minimal damage in the pursuit of fighting whoever it is that they're trying to fight. It's not that Black Adam is necessarily looking to kill. It's just that's not really a concern for him. He's like, I will stop you. And if you can't walk after that or whatever, it's not my problem. You shouldn't have done what you were doing to make me kick your ass. You shouldn't have made me want to kick your ass. And yeah.
Definitely see that with a lot of people. Not necessarily to that extent, but I feel like these issues so far are really right in my wheelhouse of my day-to-day job, working on an acute care psychiatric unit, right in the midst of a pandemic where it appears, in my opinion, the symptoms of what people are going through have been greatly exacerbated. We're seeing a lot of impulsive anger and physical outbursts related to that anger more than I recall. And I hope that I am an outlier in this, or my situation is an outlier in this. If that's the case, then please, any mental health professionals or anyone else listening, I don't mind being put in my place when it comes to this. I'd like to think that it's milder everywhere else, but so far, the colleagues that I've talked to, at least in my state, are saying, no, this is pretty much true everywhere. Violence is often the resource that someone uses when they have no alternative, when they perceive they have no alternative. That may not be accurate, but when it comes to our emotions, we are not necessarily utilizing every tool at our resource. We are utilizing what we think is going to be effective in the moment. And unfortunately, there's sometimes a level of disinhibition that we get that sometimes it could be fueled by other substances. Sometimes it can be fueled by significant repression over several months, years. It could be relationships. It could be just unforeseen circumstances. Or I'll just be blunt about it. It could also be a cognitive impairment that just you never develop that part of your brain. But I'm sorry, I don't mean to be that crass about it. I'm just saying that's another possibility. The response doesn't match the magnitude of the situation. And once again, I'll give direct examples because I think that's something that I haven't done nearly as often as I should. I have a patient, or had a patient, this is a while ago. The reason why they were in the hospital was because they try to attack someone after I having trouble saying this with a straight face. They punch someone because another person, another peer in a place where they lived said, "Wow, that's not the shirt you usually wear." That's it. That's not even an insult. So that goes back to, like, that's not criticism. That's an observation of something that is different about a circumstance in daily life, and it resulted in violence. As you said before, that does sound like a bit of a disconnect with reality. In this case, I don't think the person had a psychotic illness. I do think they lacked the skills and other coping mechanisms that could have been at their disposal to de-escalate the situation. And we found out later that there was an underlying situation where these two people actually did not get along anyway. So there's a lot of context to it. But if you take it at face value, there's no reason why a comment like that should lead to a punch. And yet, there we were. The question becomes, what's the result of that action? Because in so many parts of our society, it's not just what the person did, it's what the response was to the action. So in this case, to give more context, this person didn't like where they were staying. They wanted to get out, and they don't have any financial means to do so. But they also know that if they're not considered an ideal candidate to stay in that location, that they'll be kicked out. So although this person didn't give the information that said, "Oh, I want to leave and I will do anything I can to make that happen," we put psychologically the pieces together to say, wow, you were ready to go off at any moment just because you knew that would get you out of there. So that leads to a different approach. It wasn't just helping that person develop coping skills. It was the idea that you're getting rewarded for this behavior. And often with people that are responding to situations with violence, heaven forbid, let's say you're in a gang and you survived an encounter with someone. Doesn't matter what the slight was, like what the minor thing was that shouldn't have led to violence. The point is, it was either you or them. And now you have people that are around you that basically say, hey, you did what you could. You stuck up for us. And now they're getting positive reinforcement from it. So there can be different variations on this where it could be the environment itself that's promoting that type of reaction, whether it meant to or not. So that's one of those situations I'm not just going to put on the person, although ultimately they are responsible for their situation. That also could be a byproduct of how everyone else is handling it around them, whether they meant to exacerbate the situation or not. So that's a little...
that to me sounds, at least from that story, that to me sounds like the potential for that institutionalization where it becomes what they know, similar to, I'm using pejorative, lifelong criminals that go back to jail because that's what they know. And they know that if I'm in jail or if I'm in prison, I have that structure. I have 3 hots and a cot, so to speak, that they have that, what they don't have on the outside. And so they're almost looking for that excuse. That to me sounds like that person had that institutionalization where they were looking for it because it was familiar or because they felt secure. I'm completely speculating here.
Right. Well, that's hey, that's part of the beauty of a show like this. But if people think I've gone off the deep end, let's go ahead and let's just bring this back to Black Adam. What's the first thing that happens to him after he comes back, after flying basically through the universe, after being sent to like the farthest reaches of the galaxy and ends up back on the planet Earth? He ends up getting killed. What happens when he tries to uphold what he thinks is the proper society with a nation and does it with an iron fist? He gets fought, attacked. What happens when he tries to create a family that way? They get destroyed by his enemies. The other rival nation is heavily involved with Intergang, from what I remember, which isn't exactly an upstanding organization.
Yes,
So,
Intergang is a big part of that.
So what evidence does Black Adam have that says that society as a whole is looking to uphold what he thinks are the right things to do, when at every turn people are fighting him on it, like literally fighting him on it? And yet he has the power of the gods at his disposal to do something about it. And every time he does, it seems like he ends up in a position of power. So what else is he going to do? Just food for thought.
Interesting. So they're making their own villains, so to speak.
Maybe.
Okay. So the third part is the third issue, and again, Black Adam as a character is just he's so rich and got such a great history. Self-righteousness. And this ties in again a little bit to the first thing, but the idea of, I know I'm doing the right thing. And to me, I always think that that's what makes a great villain, is they're the hero in their own story. They're the hero in their own head. Adam is convinced he's always doing the right thing, or he's doing it for right reasons, particularly with respect to Kandak, because again, he sees himself as the benevolent leader, the benevolent ruler. He loves the people of Kandak and hates everybody else. So in his head, if he's doing it for Kandak, it must be the right thing to do, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
It is a incredibly dangerous mindset to have.
Yeah, you think? I would say that can lead to a whole delusional construct. This is something that I've discussed with colleagues when I get the chance once in a while, or with lay people, because whenever you hear stories of people that have, I'm talking true grandiose psychotic symptoms, like just they think they're other people, for the most part, they don't go with bland stuff. For example, the number of times I've encountered people that thought that they were either Jesus, or they were the Messiah, or they were some important person, everything from mayor to governor to president, whatever, that's much more common. People usually don't say, oh, I'm actually the fifth extra in a random movie that was created in the 1950s that you never heard of. That's something that's...
No, but I'd like to meet somebody who does say that. That sounds fascinating. Because again, you get the people, I'm Jesus, I'm God, I'm this, that. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Well, what, really? Really? You were a stunt double for W.C. Fields? Tell me how that was.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to, as you so eloquently put it, we are the heroes in our own story. It's a natural way for us to think. But sometimes we try to project that further than our own minds, and we try and project that onto the rest of the world without the evidence to support it. So the difficulty with these circumstances for someone like Black Adam, and I know we've had variations of this topic before, is he really is in a position of power. So yes, he does have the ability to influence society at large, but even his consideration of how far-reaching that influence is above and beyond what other people around him may consider. And when you have that disconnect, you're going to have increased emotional tension, because people are going to want to have that tension resolved. Meanwhile, someone like Black Adam actually seems to thrive on that tension, to actually play it up a bit. Anytime he has the opportunity to demonstrate just how correct he is, he welcomes the idea of people coming out of the woodwork to at least, I don't want to say be I'll say it, be a foil to them. Because he literally gets to act out being a hero. It's one thing to have this in your mind. It's another thing to be able to demonstrate outward projections and have feedback from it. But as we already discussed, whose feedback? It really isn't other people, it's his own. He loves this self-dialogue. He loves this idea that he can create this self-perpetuating system in his own cognitive construct that says, I'm right, I'm going to fight you about being right, and when I win, it just proves how right I was in the first place. And because I know what people are thinking, but Doc, Black Adam doesn't always win. Sometimes he loses. In which case, it just proves how right he was because he has to fight even harder the next time. It isn't something that makes him reconsider his position. It makes him reload his armory or restock his armory. It's just one battle. It's just one exception that proves the rule. Even when there's an old saying about this. And actually it's one said by a lot of doctors as a joke. I hope it's as a joke, you know. There was only one time when I was wrong. And it was when I thought I was wrong, but I was really right. That sums up the mentality of someone like Black Adam and to be honest, of many people in our world. And I'm glad I got Anthony to laugh about it because taken in the right context, it's meant to be funny. But it's a non-zero number that doesn't laugh at
They
that.
really mean that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And those are the people you have to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, we could go on and on. There's quite a bit to this character, but we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into treatment. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm actually dealing with a patient that, man, oh man. When I remember that we were doing Black Adam, I'm like, oh, this is too close. This is way too close. So for anybody that's listening right now, I know I keep saying this patient then, and all that stuff. So M. Night Shyamalan thing, I'm actually talking about one patient. That's not going to go in the episode because I don't want to do that because I feel like that's too close. But I'm just saying, like, I really thought that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible because I felt it just fit in perfectly. And the fact that, once again, kind of behind the scenes thing, which is why you should, subscribe to us on Patreon because you'll get little bits, tidbits like this. Anthony was the one that came up with all three of these. Sometimes we have a split. I come up with some, he comes up with some, or whatever. Anthony came up with all three of these, and the fact that he did, and yet even before he came up with these, I actually had a situation of a case study of a patient that I thought fit this character. I'm like, I'm going with this, and I knew I was going with it. So this worked out better than I expected. It may not sound better because I'm not as great an orator as I'd like to be, but I'm really jazzed because this is cool when it comes together like this, because that doesn't come together usually like this, just with one particular case in my head. So thank you so much, Anthony, for making sure I was able to run with this stuff. And that's why when you said they may not be in the right order, I'm like, I don't give a damn, man. This is good.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Just don't mess with my van, man. Don't mess with my van.
Okay. I'm not Hannibal. I definitely be Face.
You mean you're not trying to fire the cannon of a tank to see if you could get it to fly and lessen the impact?
Yo, that movie's fucking awesome. I don't care what anyone.
Oh, it is. No, it's amazing.
That movie is so fun. That movie knows exactly what it is, and it's just much like the skit is going to be. They lean into it and they just have fun with it. If you don't like the A-Team movie, it's not like the TV show. Who fucking cares? All right. Back in 3, 2, and we're back. So treatment for Black Adam in universe.
Yeah. So
Good luck.
Right. This is a situation where it's really obvious he doesn't want treatment. And so there is some good news. I'm a psychiatrist, and that means that I know how to deal with medications. And the good news about that is there is a particular stone, a particular crystal, depending on what story you've read, that actually has a really negative effect on Black Adam. So rather than focusing so much on the psychology of what he's dealing with, as we've already demonstrated, it's above and beyond that. You can't just talk your way through those things. I'm going to create the most powerful magical pill. And you best believe if he's not taking it in pill form, then I'm doing a medication override and he's getting injected. Because he needs to chill out just for a little bit. It's not going to cure everything, but it is going to allow for the type of rest that he would need so that his brain gets an opportunity just to reset a little bit. Because I think sleep would have to be a big part of this. And I'd make sure, after careful trial and error, hopefully not too much error, and I don't know if the DC universe allows for rapid randomized controlled trials. Maybe I gotta, get Flash and the Speed Force involved so that we can really move up this timeline. I mean, if you think the COVID vaccine timeline is rapid, we're talking really trying to compress this so that too many people don't get hurt, and getting that safe number needed to treat, getting that safe minimal effective dose.
You need Speed Force, but you could just use time trout. You could use any number of characters that can manipulate time and just freeze everything else. You advance the trial. You can go as quickly or as slowly as you need to, and then just go back to the point where you need the vaccine or the medication.
Yeah. And that's basically what I would do. I would make sure that, we approach it that way. And after that, we start having the general conversations, hey, Black Adam, are you killing people today? How's that going? Just the basics, not trying to, get too psychodynamic here, unless he really wants to talk about all that stuff. If he wants to talk about his family, if he wants to talk about his background and all of that, he might want to. He likes sometimes to do the villain dissertation, but if he doesn't want to do that, that's fine, man, because I'll just load up that next dose of medication the next day, preferably make it a daily dose, and take it from there.
All right. I don't know how you'd get the injection into his skin or whatever, but good luck. Good luck with that.
Oh, believe me. I think we have the perfect way to get it into his skin, because there are plenty of heroes that have demonstrated that they have the force. They have the power to be able to do that. I never said I would personally give the injection.
True. You did not.
Oh yeah. I know what I'd be doing with that. I don't care if we're talking Superman. I don't care if we're talking about Shazam. I don't care. We'll get this done.
Okay. I don't doubt it. In universe, anything can happen. So out of universe, then, gulp. Trying to think of a real world analog to Black Adam, a thin-skinned leader of the country who
stop.
Can't
dude, we
criticism.
Oh my god. We are going to get shut down quicker than TikTok.
What are you going to be shut down? Who's going to shut us down? Nobody has control over us.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Who fits?
Oh. All right. So I would like to say that the first thing is creating a safe environment for the person, making sure that they realize that they're not being threatened by me or anyone else around them. Having said that, if the person has a history of violence or a history of significant aggression and impulsivity, then that's a different story. That is a situation where what we call that on the inpatient unit is a show of force. And it sounds horrible, but believe it or not, it's the opposite of what you think. The idea is you get enough people around to let the person know that there are multiple people that are really concerned for your safety and the safety of others. And we want to find a way to resolve this in a peaceful manner where there is no need for a physical intervention. Help us do that. It puts the ball back in their court, because if they act out, then it's clear that we had to respond appropriately. We do not lay hands on people if we don't have to. That's the truth. Because a lot of people also have the stigma, the idea that all we want to do in a hospital or in the emergency room or anything, all we ever want to do is we want to get in fights with people and we just want to shoot them up with medications and things like that. No, that's not the case. We only do what we consider to be clinically necessary. So I'm going to take this opportunity, rather than going through the psychodynamics of a sociopath, because I think we've approached that in multiple episodes. I want to approach the idea that we need to have a better alliance. We need to have patients recognize that we're on their side, even when it feels like society is against them. Because that's one of the biggest reasons why people act out. They think that they are backed into a corner with no other way to respond. And it doesn't matter if it's true or if it's delusional. It's their reality at that point. We have to meet them where they are. And yes, that may include medication. Yes, that may include injections in the moment. But it doesn't have to continue to be that way. So I'm talking about crisis intervention in a way that sometimes police are involved. And believe it or not, many times the best people that are resolving these situations so that no one gets hurt are the police. I know that sounds counterthetical to what people have talked about most recently. And I want to make it clear, I'm not trying to make this a political statement. I'm saying that multiple people in multiple areas of crisis intervention are doing their best to resolve things in a way that people don't always recognize in the moment. And all they see are the actual physical results of what the intervention was. And I don't think that's always fair. So I'm introducing this once again as something that I don't think we've ever talked about in this way. Because after you approach near 100 episodes, it's nice to have a little different take on the same topics. So out of universe, the first thing is the actual crisis resolution. And then after that, getting into what led to this person having such aggressive defense mechanism. Once we get the aggression part settled, then it gets to the basis of what leads to the potential personality traits that led to this, or the more basic family dynamics, or the abuse and trauma, or whatever it was, or the comorbid substances, all of it. We want to resolve the immediate part first and then dive in piece by piece. And that part takes a long time. So you have something that may last less than a day that gets resolved. And I'll admit, as someone that works in that environment, sometimes we look at it as, okay, the situation's done. This person's good to go. Meanwhile, family members and everyone else is saying, are you crazy? You can't let this person be back in society. And we make these decisions and people don't understand. Our point is, well, as long as this person continues treatment outside of the acute area, then they can continue to progress. But what ends up happening sometimes if we don't address it properly is that it becomes a revolving door. We stabilize the temporary crisis. We see the person's behaviors resolve in that moment or for those last few days. And then the person doesn't follow up with anything, or everyone else has a different expectation. And therefore they say, well, wait a minute, this is still the same person we were dealing with. You guys didn't do anything. This was useless. And then they end up unintentionally antagonizing that person. And that person exhibits the same behaviors again, and they come back and see us, and we get frustrated because we think, oh, wow, it's their fault. They didn't do anything the way they were supposed to, and now we're blaming them. And then the person says, well, wait a minute, why is this my fault? This is all your fault. And it just starts to feed on itself in a negative way. So it is going to be a cycle. It is going to be a process that continues. The question is it going to be a cycle for the better, with fewer crisis evaluations and hospitalizations, or is it going to be a crisis for the worse, where we see someone come in almost every week or every month, and it seems like everyone just gets frustrated all around. So that's where I wanted to take that, because I'd rather do that than talk about anybody in higher ups that I think could just, totally shut us down because they don't like how we're talking about them. I'm kidding. I'm grateful that we have this platform, and I know that that's not happening because, well, to be quite frankly, I'm not sure that person will even have the cojones to do it once they realize I'm black.
Oh,
yeah. See, that's the thing. People sometimes think that don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Just because I do my best to make sure that we don't go on major tangents doesn't mean I don't know the subtext of what we're dealing with, and I wouldn't be willing to go there. All right.
Well, I mean, I really wasn't trying to make it subtext. I was making it pretty friggin' obvious that it was text. $750 in taxes. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh boy! All right, now we're really off the rails. Okay, bring it back.
That part's gonna get cut. That's I'm leaving that part out. But
it's kind of. I mean, yeah, it's kind of obvious. What Yeah, I trust you 100%. Don't worry about that, man.
$750 in fucking taxes. Are you kidding me? Anyway, so we said at the top of the show that some skits and some episodes are about teaching you things, and some are us having fun. This is definitely the latter. And so all I will say going into this is that if you know anything about the future of the character from a cinematic standpoint, and or you happen to be a teenager between 1997 and 2001, this skit is for you. If not, there are plenty of YouTube clips, I'm sure, that will explain some of the references you're about to hear. But let's see what happens when we get Black Adam on Dr. Issues' couch. So for Ruby and anybody watching, the dialogue requires me to project at a volume that is not going to be sustainable in my present circumstances with my son in the next room. So I'm going to speak the lines so that Doc has something to play off of, timing wise and everything. And tomorrow I will go back and record the lines with the appropriate amount of volume. Ruby says, here we go. Ruby's very excited. Also, because Ruby never gets to, let's just like take a moment here and just say hi, Ruby, because Ruby
Hi.
never,
you're awesome.
She never gets to listen live. She's always working. Yeah. And so there's always some shitting thing happening. And she's always like, you're never, because we usually record on Saturday nights, and she's usually working on Saturday nights. She's like, I'm off like Wednesdays and Thursdays. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Oh, well.
Like, we can't record those nights.
Yep.
Sorry. But we are grateful that you are here with us. So, so
all right. I'm ready.
Let me.
I know. Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Let me get in the appropriate headspace for the character. Thank you. I'm glad the timing worked great this time. So,
all right.
Ready when you are.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, Adam. I'm Dr.
Finally, Black Adam has come to therapy.
I'm sorry. Was this a long time?
And just who in the blue hell are you?
I'm Dr. Ish.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm sorry?
Damn right you're sorry. You should be grateful to bask in the greatness that is the mighty Adam.
This is getting off to quite a start.
Listen here. Adam doesn't have to take any crap from you. Your secretary answering phones, the jabroni on the corner hawking a cell phone plan.
What do they have to do with anything?
Know your role and shut your damn mouth while I'm talking. You dare interrupt me?
seems I have to interrupt you just to get a word in edgewise.
Adam isn't here to listen to some gobbledygook about how he needs to be a better person, how he's so violent, how he's a danger to the world. Adam is the most electrifying man in all of this universe.
Then why are you here? If you're so amazing, what are you even doing wasting your time with me?
Some people say you can make them a better hero. Adam's already pretty damn amazing, but I wanted to see what you brought to the table.
Well, if you'd give me an opportunity to speak, I could tell you.
All right, Adam's giving you 30 seconds. And Adam means 30 seconds to explain what you can do before he drops the magical smackdown on your candy ass.
Now listen here, Adam. I'm not going to let some overhyped deity wannabe spout catchphrases all day. You want to be stronger? You want to be smarter? You want millions and millions of people worshiping the ground you walk on? Then make the type of connection that only Adam can with the psychiatrist that's done it all in this business.
Are you done?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't do promos much.
Well, I must say you have a high amount of energy. And if there's anything Adam knows, it's to just bring it.
So are you saying...
Adam is not done. You don't know what Adam can do to you. Adam can take your little notepad and your pencil, shine those sumbitches up real nice, turn them sideways, and stick it straight up your candy ass.
Well, my memory is pretty good, so I don't
need Adam to let you know that he is not just the ruler of a nation. No, no, no. Even if that nation is one of domination. No, no. He is the people's champ.
People's champ? You probably killed more people than those you've ruled.
Adam's problem is that he's too damn electrifying. If he hits you, you die. If he misses, the wind blows your lungs out and you die.
Do you want to channel that lightning that changed the world? Do you want people to truly know how great you are?
Are you talking about going one-on-one with the great one? This is more than anyone can handle. No one can best me when I talk. No one can beat me when I lay the smack down. I can feel it.
Feel what?
If you smell what Shazam... Oh, no.
Are you okay, Adam?
You weren't supposed to see this side. I just need to,
No. It's okay. You're still electrifying. You're still the people's champ. You're just a little toned down this way is all.
Adam, thanks you for that. I'm just going to head back to my hotel now.
Oh, where are you staying?
Oh, the SmackDown Hotel. It's at the corner of No Euro Boulevard and Jabroni Drive.
Oh, that's a nice hotel. How's the food?
Oh, the dinner isn't bad, but the pie is amazing.
Maybe you could bring some to the next session.
Oh, I will definitely bring it.
Well, I guess that's the bottom line because Doc Issue said so.
I don't even have the... Okay, now I'm looking at you. I had the tab with the script the whole time because I couldn't look you in the face.
Yeah.
That was the only way I knew I was going to be able to get through the skit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can't look at you.
Yep.
And I was obviously just laughing my ass off, just reading the lines, not even going full out.
Yep.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yep.
That was so fun. And we're back in 3, 2. Well, I think that rocked.
Yeah. And if it didn't, then I think people will let us know if we've hit rock bottom.
Oh, I think they'll let us know. I think we will hear from the millions and millions of people that don't listen to the show. I wish we did have millions and millions of listeners.
Oh, yeah.
If we start talking about MMA and, goat tranquilizers or whatever the hell.
Oh, boy.
Drugs.
Oh, dear. Oh.
I don't want to be a Spotify exclusive. It's a lot of inside baseball talk on this show for whatever reason.
Although, if you don't know who we're talking about with that stuff, I mean, really, you're listening to the podcast. Come on.
Yeah. Just go back and watch news radio.
Wow.
So, recommended reading for this week's episode for this character is the JSA Black Rain storyline. I think that is just a good encompassing, again, just a good storyline, the way and a good story arc for Adam, and to really give you a good idea of who he is as a person and as a character. So, hold on, I'm just looking up. So we can do the review read. Okay. So I did that. And I need to do the next episodes. Figuring out what we're doing. Hank McCoy and Ego. Brian again because we bumped up Matt.
Yeah, I got you.
So, and then our 100th episode. So,
oh my God,
I know it's crazy. Let me just copy the review read. Should have done this before. And so the next thing we're going to do is just read a quick review from Super Nerdy. It's a 5-star review left on Apple Podcasts. Wonderful. This great, unique show is a must listen. Hit subscribe now. Thank you, Super Nerdy. We appreciate that. And if you would like to leave us a review, you can do that on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or Stitcher. And if you email us at capesonthecouch@gmail.com with a screen cap of your review and your address, we will send you a sticker as a way of saying thank you so much for taking the time to leave us a positive, kind word. Upcoming episodes: Hank McCoy, and then Ego, the Living Planet, and then our 100th episode. So again, reminder, go to capesonthecouch.live/nominees and vote for our award show. We're still doing that for 2 more weeks. So get those votes in where you can. And as always, you can find all of our episodes on our website, capesonthecouch.live. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Capes on the Couch. And you can email us at the aforementioned capesonthecouch@gmail.com. We've got a Patreon. If you join the Patreon, you can unlock so much additional cool exclusive content. And bloopers will be coming out shortly for our patrons. And if we just get a few more patrons and a few more dollars, we'll be doing monthly movie commentaries like riff tracks. So go to patreon.com/capesonthecouch and search for us there, because unfortunately, since we are considered to have adult content on Patreon, you can't just do a search for us. So you have to go to the link directly. Patreon.com/capesonthecouch, links in the show notes. And we have a TeePublic site as well, tpublic.com/user/capesonthecouch. So you can get some cool swag. Special shout out to Chad from the Perfect Package podcast, who just did some recording while wearing our Why Because Comics shirt, as designed by the awesome Emily, daughter of Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Shout out again to Ruby watching us on YouTube, who actually had the time to join us this week. And join us in our Discord, Facebook groups so that you can partake with other fans. We've got some cool memes going up and just fun chat and banter. So with that being said, Doc?
You know, I at first thought that this was going to be a pretty dark episode, you know, with the name Black Adam and everything, but this turned out to be pretty colorful. So I'll give you some credit.
And there you have it. For Doc Issues, I'm Anthony Sitko. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. save that. And then a new session for Fables.
All right, so I've read like more than the initial Fable. So if we're doing volume 1, is that just like the mystery with Rose Red? I'm just
Yes.
trying to make sure. Okay, cool.
It's just the mystery with Rose Red. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's fine. I got that. Perfect.
I never read anything, I never read any of Fables before this. I like it.
Yeah.
That skit was great. I'm going to love hearing the final version. Yeah, that's just going to end up being me doing my rock impression. So, but I have to yell, I have to project for that, and my wife would kill me if I woke up my kid. So I don't want to die. I don't want to do that. So, all right. So we're getting ready to do Fables. So did you get audition up?
Yep.
Start a new session yet?
Yep. I hit record.
All right. I'm recording as well in 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
All right. And we got it up. And let's go in 3, 2. Hello and welcome to Capes on the Couch, where comics get counseling, Patreon trade paperback review. I'm Anthony Sitko.
And I'm Dr. Issues.
This is review number 8. We're covering Fables, Volume 1, Legends in Exile. On a side note, I know that our one of our patrons, Robbie, in the Discord suggested a couple of characters recently for us to do episodes on, and Bigby from Fables came up as a suggestion. So this was my introduction to the Fables universe, reading the book for this this review episode. But
yeah,
after reading it, I am thoroughly intrigued by the concept, and would definitely like to get into it a little more. And I definitely would like to do an episode on Bigby. I think at some point in the future we'll squeeze that in.
Yeah, I've been a Fables fan for a long time. I completely forgot the name of this because I also played the Telltale games, The Wolf Among Us, which is also excellent. It doesn't follow the same exact path as the comics, thank goodness, because I would have known exactly what to do every time. But yeah, this entire series is amazing. But doing Volume 1 is totally fine. Anthony had to remind me which one it was because I've read multiple, but I didn't read them in order. So I just had to be reminded. And we'll get into the details. But yeah, I'm really pumped up. And the idea of doing Bigby as a character too is really cool.
Yeah. So with that, Fables, created by Bill Willingham, the writer, with pencils by Lan Medina, inks by Steve Lealoa and Craig Hamilton, colors by Sherilyn Van Valkenburg, letters by Todd Klein. So Volume 1, Legends in Exile, covers Fables issues 1 through 5, starting in July of 2002. So Fables is a world of fictional and legendary characters who are living in New York City among real people who they refer to as mundanes or mundies. So many fables live in a building in the city, while non-human fables live upstate on a farm. And they are on the run and hiding from the adversary who took their land and kicked them out of their respective kingdoms. And I really like the way that it was told, sort of in flashback, that he was attacking various other worlds. I believe one of them was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
You see Aslan lying there with a bunch of arrows in him. The Wizard of Oz is another story that was told to that was another kingdom that was overtaken by this adversary. Yeah. And so all of these disparate groups of characters all sort of banded together, and I believe they refer to as clemency, that basically anything that happened before the adversary, like, You can't be prosecuted for it.
Right.
It can't be used to demean you or to drag you down. Like whatever happened before
Right.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it's what
Yeah.
you're doing now that
Right.
counts.
Yeah. So when they say non-human fables live upstate on the farm, I just want to clarify something. Yes, that refers to usually, fables that don't clearly can't pass for human. Uh, there are some that kind of straddle the line. I mean, I'm thinking of Beast, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, the way it's all portrayed, like you can tell they're still really trying to figure all of this out. Like, how is this really supposed to work? So you can tell this is not a perfectly set in stone situation. But anyway, yeah, I'll let you continue with the
And I'm
background.
sure that gets fleshed out into further detail in later issues and later volumes.
Yeah, yeah,
But given that I'm just working with the introduction to the world and the first stories, that's all that I know. So I'm sure you can expound upon that further if we get into later volumes for a trade paperback review. So Big B Wolf, he is, as the name implies, he is the big bad wolf. He is their sheriff / detective. And he is investigating the disappearance and possible murder of Rose Red, who is the sister of Snow White. Snow White is the deputy mayor of the Fables. She's operating under Old King Cole. He is the mayor / king, but he's more of a figurehead. Snow White is the one who actually gets things done. She's deputy mayor / chief of staff, etc. And so she is riding coattails, or she is riding along with Bigby on his investigation of the disappearance / murder. And so he has a list of suspects, including Snow White herself, who had been on the outs with Rose for some time. Her boyfriend, Jack, who is a composite of Jack Horner, Jack and Jill, Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack Frost, Jack B. Nimble, basically any characters that involve Jack. He's a trickster. He's always kind of looking for an angle. And then Bluebeard, who allegedly had a contract to marry her in exchange for a sizable dowry. Bluebeard is a very wealthy fable and is basically almost single-handedly keeping the government running through his financial donations.
Yep.
Because apparently they're not allowed to levy taxes on other fables. I don't understand how you set up a government, but you don't have tax enforcement.
Okay, I'll jump in only because you're right. That is a great question. A lot of this has to do with the fact that they have to keep up as much distance from the rest of New York or the United States, like society in general. And if they create that type of system within that environment, then that's going to lead to outsiders giving more scrutiny. So yes, in theory, they could create it for themselves, but I'll admit I'm expounding more than I should, but basically there are more problems the more they try and do things the normal Mundy way. And if they get too close to that, it's not going to work great. So I'll just leave it there.
Fair enough. And I understand you don't want to completely spoil everything from, future volumes should we get into them. So in any case, he's doing his investigation. Of course, he encounters a variety of different characters. Little Boy Blue, the Flycatcher, who is, I believe, the Frog Prince.
Yep.
There's a whole host of
Prince Charming,
Prince
who's the ex.
Just I love how he's written. He's basically just the ultimate layabout, and shows up. He is the ex-husband of Snow White. They are divorced because apparently she got tired of him being just a real shitheel. he shows up, he sweet talks this waitress, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have any money, but we're just gonna go upstairs to my place and fuck, and you're gonna send me, you're gonna pay for it anyway." And then he leaves with a note on the door. He's like, "Oh, could you pick up my laundry and do this for me and do that? I'll come back later and fuck you, maybe." Because he's just that guy.
Yeah.
He is 100% that guy, and it's fun reading that, the fact that they just write him so blatantly obvious out there. So at the Remembrance Day event, Remembrance Day is the day where they all sort of get together and raise a toast to those who were fallen and remember all of their former lives, and et cetera, et cetera. So at this Remembrance Day event, Bigby brings everybody together for a parlor scene, which he is sort of like a meta reference, because he's like, "Oh, every detective would love to, we love to get these moments of a parlor scene. This is the part of the story where the detective lays out how it's all done," which of course is exactly what he's doing. So it's a little on the nose. It's very Agatha Christie-esque, but I appreciated the fact that he was just sort of leaning into that. He reveals that he was able to deduce that Rose and Jack had schemed this all together to swindle money from Bluebeard so they could basically go on the run and live together. But they didn't think their cunning plan all the way through. So Bluebeard gets restitution for money that was earned by Prince Charming selling lottery tickets to win his kingdom, because he's going to sell it off. It's worthless anyway, since the land is occupied by the adversary. So Bluebeard gets the money from the selling of the lottery tickets, and Rose and Jack have to perform community service as a way to make up for the fact that they fucked up.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I haven't said this before. I love fairy tales. I tried to read every Grimm's fairy tale I could. And so seeing a lot of these stories, which are not all Grimm's fairy tales, some of them are Hans Christian Andersen, some of them are even dating before that. Some of them are American folklore later on, not in this issue. But the fact that I saw all of these references and I'm like, oh my God, I know what that is. I'm wondering how many people read this book and have no clue, because I know the name Fables kind of points it out, and you did a great job pointing out the major ones. Bluebeard, like who the hell actually knows Bluebeard's story? He was a guy that actually basically would marry women, and the day that he would marry them, he would kill them. And he ended up with a lot of dead bodies in his cellar. And the actual fairy tale story was there was one woman that he married, and his only rule was whatever you do, because you have the entire mansion, like he's so rich, you have the entire mansion. There's only one room you can't go in. Don't go in that room. So what do you think happens? Woman goes in that room and finds out. And ultimately she escapes, et cetera, has a nice ending. But I'm just saying, like, nobody knows. I'm not aware of anybody that knows that fairy tale story. Like that's not a well-known one. I'm just impressed. And through the volumes, I'm so impressed that they get so many of these characters into this whole, land. It's really awesome. Rose Red. I'm like, who knows the story Snow White and Rose Red? Everyone just knows Snow White. Snow White and Rose Red is its own story, like its own fairy tale. Like that's really cool. All right. I'm sorry.
I honestly thought it was Red Riding Hood.
Ah, see? And people thought that because of Bigby Wolf, which, no. Rose Red is a completely different person and a completely different story. That involves a dwarf. And I'm sorry. I love fairy tales. So that's why I think this stuff is so cool. And anybody that looks at me on camera right now is like, what is this guy doing? He looks giddy. Because I am. I love this stuff. I really do. Especially since Disney bastardized. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, because Disney bastardizes all these things and makes them so, saccharine sweet that it's like, I can't take it, because some of these are meant to be brutal stories that didn't all have good endings, or had variations that are way worse. You mentioned Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, fine. There's variations of the wolf and how he dies. He doesn't just get run off by the woodsman or shot by the woodsman. Like at one point, because he actually swallowed Red Riding Hood and Grandma whole, the wolf was so tired that he actually the huntsman that finds them actually cuts them both out to save them. But then to make sure the wolf learned a lesson, filled his stomach up with rocks. I mean, there's some brutal stuff that these people used to write. So anyway, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
to get back,
the Brothers Grimm. There's some fucked up stories, no question there. Yes, and Once Upon a Time, the Disney version is basically, the Disney version of these stories is, similar in sort of like the beginning, but then it just became how many different Disney versions of the characters can we just shoehorn into the story? And I think I mentioned that last time. My mother watched Once Upon a Time for a couple of seasons, and then she was like, "I'm fucking done with this. I can't anymore.
Yeah.
This is just it's too much for me." But I mean, I dug it. I really liked, like I said, I liked that Bigby is the closest thing that we have to sort of like the protagonist of the story, or at the very least, he's the character that we follow the most. And I do like some of the other stuff in there. I liked the Beauty and the Beast and the whole notion of that his curse comes back if Belle starts, or Beauty starts getting mad at him. And so he's talking and he's like, my teeth are grown and so it makes it hard to understand. So he starts to take on a more beastly appearance the madder she gets at him, because the whole true love makes him a human thing. It waxes and wanes, which is a conceit that I hadn't really considered before reading this.
Yep.
It's a cool idea, and so I do. Now, I would like to get into some of these characters. Definitely, at least Bigby. Maybe even Snow White, I think would make.
Oh, definitely Snow White.
Read. Yeah,
definitely.
I'm sure. Just based on the 5 issues that I read, just this one volume, there's a lot for her character to do. So, all right. So, thoughts on, and so I guess we'll go into the ratings now. We always do the ratings on the story and the artwork. And so the story, I will give this a 9, because I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was engrossing. And then the artwork, I will also give a 9, because it was detailed in all the right ways. And from what I understand, Lan Medina, I guess, only does the pencils for this first volume, that the majority of later issues are penciled by another artist.
You could tell, but it is consistent. I'll say that. You can definitely tell that it's a different artist, but they kept the same overall look.
But I did like the general aesthetic and just the detail, the attention to detail, especially for the parlor scene when it goes back and caches everything, and it shows you where everything was. Like, if you were astute enough, you could have pieced it together from the beginning.
Yep.
And there were a couple of things that I had thought were very strange when I was looking at the initial thing, but I wasn't sure where it was going to go.
Right.
In any case, there's a roundabout way of saying I'll give the art a 9. So I'm giving the whole thing a 9 overall, which I think may be one of the highest, maybe aside from like The Wicked and the Divine.
Right.
But it's a damn good book.
So I'm going to go backwards. I'll also give the art a 9, mainly because they had to make sure the artwork was consistent, which anybody that's heard these reviews knows that I consider that to be a big thing. But yeah, it doesn't work if they missed details. So I thought they did a wonderful job. And this is a 10 out of 10. It's why I'm giddy. It's because I love this. And I'm not just saying that for volume 1. I really love this for a lot of them. I haven't read every single one, but each time I've read it, I've read a volume straight through. I don't like pick up sections or whatever. I read the entire volume. So I'm deeply satisfied that we got to review this. Mainly, okay, this book has been out long enough. I'm going to go ahead and give like one of the spoilers. So one of the big points with this was the fact that the scene that this all happened in originally is so bloody. And when I saw it, I thought comic trope. I'm like, this is ridiculous. There's no such thing as something like this happening if you're telling me it's one person murdered. Like, it's not. I'm like, that's just not possible. But I gave it as a comic trope. And then they're actually digging in. I'm like, I am not giving these writers nearly enough credit.
This right.
And
It's all Bill Willingham.
I know, I'm just saying, I was shocked. Not at the result, just the process itself. I'm like, never mind. I thought that this was at a certain base level, and it wasn't. And I can tell you from the other volumes, it's never basic. They do an excellent job with character details, with backstory, with all of it. So I know I'm just saying this for volume 1, quote unquote. No, I'm saying this. Just pick up Fables and read it. Just read the darn thing. It's amazing.
This is another one that's going to be added to my long list whenever I get around to reading comics, whenever I have time. But this is on the list. Thoroughly enjoying this one. So Doc averages to a 9.5 out of 10. Mine averages to a 9 out of 10. Go read this book. It's solid. So next review is The Umbrella Academy, Volume 1, Apocalypse Suite. So looking forward to that. I know at one point we were supposed to do one of the characters on the Umbrella Academy for an episode. And then I think then we went on one of our season breaks and we never got around to it. And then we came back and we said, oh, we'll just, jump in with stuff. And now at this point, you present level patrons, you run our show pretty much. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I just mean that, we're constantly inundated with suggestions for characters that it's very rare that we get to do one where we say, we want to do this character, and we love the feedback. We love the input that you guys have. So we're certainly not complaining about it. It's, it's a wonderful problem to have, but it just doesn't leave much time for us to say, to insert a character. And also I think frankly, because we love the characters that y'all pick. So we're never like, shit, we have to do this one. We have to talk about this character. It's like, Ariel picked this one. Ruby picked this one. Like, Matt's got a theme idea.
Yep.
And Brian pulls out fucking Eeyore. But, we love.
That's the only one you gave shit for. I thought it was amazing.
I'm joking. I came around to appreciate the ER pick. But my point is, that there's never a situation where we're like, oh, I really want to do this character, but we have to slog through all these bullshit. Like that's not the case at all. Like every time we get a suggestion for a character, it's always like, oh, now we get to do this guy. Now we get to tackle this character. So I'm sure at some point somebody will pick somebody from Umbrella Academy, and I'm sure somebody will select somebody from Fables, and if not, then we'll inject them somewhere,
Yep.
But all that is a long-winded way of saying thank you to, all of our patrons. We appreciate each and every single one of you, especially the present level ones, for coming up and picking all these awesome characters for us to do. So spread the love, spread the word. You know where we are on social media. You know how to find us. You know how to interact with us. Tell folks, because if we get a few more people, we're going to do the movie reviews. We're going to, or not the movie reviews, the movie commentaries.
There you go.
We should do one just as like a teaser, like, pick.
I like that idea.
Pick one, throw it up only on the Patreon, and
I like that idea.
See what happens with it.
Okay.
Suggestion is we do the Fantastic Four remake.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Because I've never seen it, and like I feel like I almost feel like, and I don't like doing this because I know so many podcasts are like, oh, we drink and talk about whatever. I need to be altered in some fashion to watch this fucking movie.
And I need to make sure that I am responsible at every turn to make sure that nothing negative happens, because that's what good friends do.
I'm gonna be in my house.
Oh, shit has gone down to people's houses. Don't worry about that.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us for Doc Issues. I'm Anthony Setko. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Alrighty, save.
All right. And it's good timing because I just got the notification that the room is going to end in 5 minutes. So
All right, perfect.
perfect timing. So with that being said, Ruby, thank you as always. You're awesome. We appreciate your constant interaction on Discord, Facebook, sharing, Instagram, whatever, Twitter. We love it. We appreciate it. And thank you. I'm definitely buying Fables, Ruby says. Well, there you go.
Yay!
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Oh, man. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
So go check it out. It's an awesome read. I'm looking forward to getting into future runs. Maybe I'll swing by my local comic shop tomorrow and see if they have some of the trades in that I can get. I gotta start building up my trade library a little bit. It's almost all Moon Knight, so I'd like to vary it a little. So that being said, all right, we're gonna wrap this up. So thanks for watching, Ruby. We love you. We appreciate it. Go out, buy Fables, read it. It's on Comixology, so check it, and hopefully you can make a future recording session, what have you. And Doc, you know how to send me that stuff.
It's uploading right now.
Awesome. So we're out. Peace. We love you.
Peace.